Okay, so before we move on, real quick, unlike the Love and Thunder, this balances the humor and seriousness in Guardians. Yeah, and that's why James Gunn is so good at what he does. And and I keep saying it. I cannot wait for Superman Legacy. We've got a story about that coming up a little later, but I can't wait for that. And if it's anything like that, look out. So, moving on, we actually going from theatrical, we go to a major film festival that's happening right now in Cannes, in France right now. And there's a big there's an interesting little thing going on. So a couple months ago, I did a story about Killers of the Flower Moon actually premiering at Cannes, and they have two different subsets. They have in competition and they have out of competition. Now, if you're in competition, you actually get a chance to win what's called the Palme d'Or, or Best Director or Best Film. So actually, what's going to end up happening is, the caveat for it, okay, is that um, if you do enter it in competition, the streaming rights, it has to be in certain things, and I'll get to it in the article. But Scorsese is not, and Apple are not going to actually put it in competition. So it's fascinating. So this comes from THR, and they're talking about how it's not going to be put in. At the 2023 Cannes Film Festival, which kicks off Tuesday, six titles, not counting midnight showings or the TV series The Idol, will screen, quote, out of competition, end quote, meaning a big red carpet premiere and the heavy media coverage that accompanies one, but without eligibility for festival prizes. The, they, they, the festival includes John DeBerry, starring Johnny Depp, okay, following in the footsteps of star vehicles when ranging from 2011 The Beaver to the 2018 Gotti. Feature festival closer, Elemental from Pixar. That's the new one coming out in June. Animated Pixar never invited into competition. Franchise flick Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, okay, and Kill Bill, The Matrix, Ocean, Star Wars, and X Men have also done this. And most highly anticipated title, Martin Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon. Among these, Killers is a unique case. In that the festival director, Thiat Fermon, revealed in April that it was and remains invited to screen in competition. He said that it initially offered the film only an out of competition slot since its worldwide digital distributor, Apple, like most other streamers, won't usually wait for a long theatrical window prior to streaming, as required by the festival for a competition slot. But then Apple indicated it would do it, so it Killers, which was going to be theatrically distributed by Paramount in France and the United States. So, and he's explained, quote, well, in that case, you are welcome in competition, and we'll see how the response is, end quote. Scorsese, who had previously done a number of films at Cannes, both in competition and had won for including Taxi Driver, which won the Palme d'Or in 1976, and later in 1985 for After Hours. In out of competition for several documentaries, and Apple have opted not to take up his offer. That begs the question, why would a legendary filmmaker and a flush distributor armed with what he describes as, quote, an extremely long film, end quote, that drove him to tears and not want to screen in competition at the world's most prestigious film festival? Some filmmakers are adverse to the idea of competition. Woody Allen, for example, had brought more than a dozen films to Cannes, dating all the way back to 1979's Manhattan. Three opened the festival, but none have played in competition. Allen explained in 2016, for any group to judge other people is one thing someone one should never do. I don't believe in it and I don't want to participate. Others followed suit. Um, so this is basically there is another director that says, I don't want to be in competition anywhere. And that was the takeaway of Stephen Franz after he presided over the competition jury in '07. Despite having previously won multiple films in competition, he kept his next title, 2010's Tomorrow Drive, out of it. So older titles of a filmmaker and or distributor is concerning and managing for expectations. The New York Times noted all the way back in 1974, an increasing number of established filmmakers declined to compete at Cannes, reasoning the loss of the grand prize to some upstart newcomer can be more damaging than winning than can be prestigious. Columbia Film University's professor Anna Endesval, um, a veteran of the many Cannes festivals, tells THR, I don't ever recall it helping the masters, quote, masters who has filmed the competition. There is less pressure for filmmakers when there is work and reviewed. That factored into the calculation of keeping Ann Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon out of competition in 1999. So it goes on and it talks about many different filmmakers. And basically, that said, nobody knows how Scorsese. Basically, it's this, guys. Is this going to. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Meadow. So basically, it's talking about this. Okay, we have a film here that's not going to take the competition for several reasons or another. One of them is the fact of if it is streamed in competition, you're talking about 18 months before it can be put on stream. That means if this is a $250 million production, which all of the things might, even $200 million, you're not going to be getting anything recouped. This is going to be, I believe they've already got a date set here in the States. They want this to make as much money as they can because here's the thing too. This is a award season darling. Okay. So it's one of those things where, I mean, you've got arguably his two muses. Okay. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio there on the left and Robert De Niro there on the right. And this is about a murder mystery and everything else. Everything about this looks very, very good. And so, of course, this is based off the book by David Grann, okay, which I actually have sitting at my bedside table right now because I will be reading Killers of the Flower Moon before this gets released because I'm dying to see this just like everybody else. And I think that this is going to do well. But even if, let's face it, even if this doesn't do well monetarily, box office wise, this is going to get a lot of play at the award season. Mark my words, whether it's, the Golden Globes or the Oscars, this is going to all about the award season. So, I mean, all you got to do is look at The Irishman, right? The Irishman was 3.5 hours. And look how many nominations that got. Now, did it win a lot of them? No. But it's just a simple premise of you had everybody coming together. Once again, you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, you've got Robert De Niro, you've got Brendan Fraser, you've got Lily Gladstone, you've got a bunch of people in this. I can't wait. And the fact that it's been really kept under wraps, it's fascinating that we're talking about a film that nobody knows anything about. And, unless you've read the book, which I will start doing momentarily, nobody knows anything about. So it's going to be interesting to see what Apple does and Scorsese does. I think that they're going to they're going to. It's not about money for Scorsese. It's not about arrogance. It's not about money. It's not anything like that. I just want this on as many eyeballs as possible. Anyways, guys, what do you guys think about this news about Scorsese not screening this in competition at Cannes? Do you think this is a loss for him, even though he's won before? Do you think this is a good thing because they're going to be able to make more money from this? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments and I'll get back to everyone.